So my name is Marshane. I'm part of the team here at Oxford College of Marketing. This webinar is being recorded, so it can be sent out to you afterwards. Today we've got our second Martech Club with Robin. This session is on harnessing your marketing data for better return on investment. Robin is a self-proclaimed nerd who has been put on this earth to make organisations and individuals understand their marketing data and demystify Martech and make complicated things more accessible. So she's very qualified for today's talk.
No pressure.
We'll have the presentation with Robin first, and then we'll have some time for questions at the end. So, Robin, I'll hand over to you now.
Okay, yeah. So as Marshane says, today is all about data and AI and how we can use it as marketers to get more out of our campaigns, understand what's going on more, and kind of be able to be adaptive and more reactive to actually what our consumers, our communities, our segments actually want from us as brands, as organizations, and as marketers, really, so we can serve our clients better. So Marshane has definitely outed me as a data nerd, but yes, that is me. And I like to understand how we can use data and marketing technology to basically enhance our efforts as marketers, because data is the lifeblood of a lot of the AI platforms that we utilize and the decisions that we now have to make as marketers. I'm an experienced digital agency owner. We're now based in Gothenburg and Manchester. I am a course tutor at Oxford College of Marketing for Martech and AI, which is wonderful, actually. I actually love teaching this topic. And I am certified within a lot of AI areas, such as governance, safety, and implementation within marketing. So today, we're going to cover some really foundational kind of understanding of how we can access, understand, gather, and analyze data as marketers to transform that raw data that we kind of collect like dragons and sit on into actionable insights and strategic decisions. We're going to learn how to collect it, analyze it, and we're also going to look at how AI can automate these processes and personalize customer experiences. We're going to talk about tools and tools we already use and how we can actually gather more data insights from them. And then we're going to cover 2 case studies of brands that we all know and love from the UK and how they turned to really leaning in to their data analytics, their marketing technology, and the impact that that had, along with how they also implemented it. As always, in any of my sessions, any of the webinars that I do, please just put your questions in the chat. If I don't answer them as I'm going through, we'll catch them up at the end. Okay, and thank you again for all joining during your dinner hour. I do feel incredibly privileged. Okay, so why is data important? We've been collecting data on those that interact with the things that we put out there as marketers for years. But actually, it's crucial now because it provides the insights needed to understand consumer behavior, preferences, and important trends that we need to act upon. We are living in a very competitive landscape, especially within marketing, and data-driven decisions enable us to create personalized and targeted campaigns that truly resonate with our audience and ensure that those people we want to take action within our marketing strategy feel seen, heard, understood, supported by our brand's products or services. And by leveraging kind of data analytics, we as marketers can measure the effectiveness of our strategies now in real time and optimize our efforts for better results, ultimately achieving a higher return on investment overall. Because we want to stay ahead, right? We want to stay relevant. The people that we work for or with, we also want to stay competitive. And we can do that by utilizing data-driven decisions to enhance our strategy, optimize our campaigns, and overall spend our resources better as marketers. I use this term kind of data-driven decision or data-driven marketing quite a lot. If you've ever gone to any of my kind of AI or MarTech courses within the college, you will hear me say that quite a lot. And it actually refers to the process of just using data and analytics to guide strategic decisions, optimize things, and achieve better results. But I do think it deserves this title, like data-driven, because instead of relying on intuition, guesswork, we can leverage data from multiple sources, such as kind of things like customer interactions, social media, web analytics, sales performance even, to then gain actionable, usable insights that come from a place of black and white. The data is there. We're making the decisions based on that data we have collected, analyzed, and stored. And by basing decisions on concrete data, we can improve our targeting efficiency and things like that. But it also allows us to make decisions quickly, backed with data, and also in a truly explainable way to our C-suite members, to our stakeholders, our clients, because data can be compared, it can be analyzed, and you can kind of talk around the data when looking at why you're implementing change or why you're implementing X, Y, and Z. So what in truth is kind of better than that? Having actionable insights delivered to you from the data that we collect within our marketing processes that then enhance our ROI, give better outcomes, and allow us to make quick reactive decisions. It's a pretty no-brainer for me, actually. But honestly, you will be totally surprised, and I've got some stats and things like that later on in this webinar, of how people don't utilize that data. They just collect it, they just store it. It sits in silos, it never gets analyzed, it never sees the light of day again once it's come out of your CRM, for example. So we need to be making use of that because we are incredibly data rich as a sector. So let's look at a brand we all know. So when I was doing this, I was like, everybody knows Tesco. Okay. So Tesco actually turned to data analytics for enhanced customer loyalty. So a bit of background. So Tesco is one of the largest supermarket chains. But obviously, as with all kinds of supermarket leaders, there's increasing competition and also changes in consumer behaviors. There's not really that kind of brand loyalty that, like, my nan, she'll only go to Morrison's, for example, or she'll go to M&S if she's having a posh tea. There isn't that anymore. There's a lot of changes into how we view these types of organizations. And to stay ahead, to stay relevant, Tesco needed to better understand what its customers needed, what their preferences were. And they needed to feel like they understood them to enhance customer loyalty and improve overall business performance. Because in reality, they were being left behind. Yeah. So what did they kind of decide this kind of project was based upon? So one of their biggest challenges is that they have such a vast customer base with totally different shopping choices, behaviors, and purposes for a brand like Tesco. And Tesco found it incredibly challenging to personalize its marketing efforts and effectively engage with its customers overall. And a mass kind of campaign wasn't working for them. So they were sending out mass emails to all of their lists. Yes, you can roll your eyes. But in reality, they were not connecting with all of their kind of lists or all of their community or people that shop with them. And the supermarket needed a really great way to gather and analyze large volumes of customer data to make informed decisions and create targeted marketing strategies, because the mass kind of send out of stuff wasn't working anymore. They were missing the mark with their choice of campaigns, and they just knew that if they didn't begin to understand, segment, and kind of reach out to all of their consumers in a way that supported them, they were going to increasingly fall behind in their kind of outreach. So the solution was they turned to data analytics by implementing a really big deep dive centered around its club card loyalty program. So by leveraging advanced data analytics tools and techniques, they could collect and analyze data from millions of club card transactions linked to their audiences, their individuals that shopped with them. And this approach allowed Tesco to gain deep insights into customer purchase patterns, preferences, trends, and just begin to understand who truly was purchasing from Tesco overall. So their implementation was kind of in these 4 kind of steps. So this is where they accessed the data that they had anyway to be able to improve and enhance their overall marketing strategy. So within the implementation, within this kind of lean into data for Tesco within its Club Card loyalty program, they started the data collection. Now, this was quite easy for them. They had this great program where they could access all of the information through the Club Card loyalty program. So they looked at various touch points, including in-store purchases, online shopping, mobile app interactions through this program. They then used sophisticated data analytics platforms to identify patterns and trends. And then this was where they could then segment its customer base into distinct groups based on shopping behaviors and preferences. And then, because they all of a sudden, they weren't marketing to the whole pie anymore, they had these gorgeous sections that they could personalize marketing campaigns to. So with the insights gained from that analysis, Tesco developed really, really granular personalized marketing campaigns tailored to each customer segment. This included things like targeted, maybe promotions, product recommendations, and customized offers that resonated with individual customers. And what they also implemented was customer feedback. So Tesco also used data analytics to monitor customer feedback and sentiments. And by analyzing these customer reviews, social media interactions, and survey responses, Tesco could continually provide opportunity, products, and choice dedicated to those segments that they didn't have before. So it was a really kind of, it may seem obvious that they should have been doing this anyway, but this lean into it meant that they had this much more higher understanding by utilizing the data they already had within that kind of Club Card program. So what were the results, right? What impact did this data have overall for Tesco? There was a huge leap in customer loyalty. So the marketing efforts led to a significant increase in customer engagement. Customers appreciated the tailored efforts. There was an increase in footfall. If you checked the data, there was more people coming back to Tesco on a regular basis. It resulted in better feedback on the kind of surveys that they put out, and also repeat purchases, both in store and online. They had a really great enhanced sales performance. So there was a notable improvement because they could focus on high value customers and maximize that customer's lifetime value. So they're trying to get people back through the door, and it had a notable impact on that. The data analytics help Tesco to optimize inventory management as well. So even though it's like data that's for marketing, they could then use this information that it was gleaned out of this segmentation to understand customer demand patterns, and Tesco could reduce things like overstock, for example. And also by embracing and actually realizing that we have to use the data that we have available to understand what is truly going on, we can then gain a competitive edge. And that's what Tesco did. So that ability to understand and anticipate customer needs allowed Tesco to differentiate itself from competitors and maintain its market kind of leadership and that loyalty that the program was designed for anyway. So Tesco's strategic shift to data analytics transformed its marketing efforts and overall business performance, right? And by harnessing, by gathering, understanding, capturing, nurturing, analyzing that data, Tesco could then deliver these gorgeous personalized experiences, giving a competitive advantage in a highly competitive retail landscape. And again, this case study kind of highlights the importance of these data-driven decisions that we can use or we can create within businesses as marketers if we have the data to understand what is going on. So that was Tesco. That's how they leaned into this kind of use of data and acquisition of data that they already have to then analyze the segments of the people who they were talking to. It's a great kind of showcase of the impact that just using the data that you already have can actually make for your organization. So how do we as marketers begin to get in on this gold mine, right? How do we start to understand or even enhance how we look at data? And one of the fundamental things that we need to do as marketers is actually understand where data is being created within our systems and processes. Because instead of going out trying to capture new data, we all know how hard that can be, and timely and resource costs, it can be really high. We actually have so much data already within our systems and processes as marketers that we should be acting upon it anyway. So this could be a kind of variety of touch points for us. So where are your customer interactions data stored? Is it in-store purchases, online shopping behaviors, social media engagements, email responses, website visits? Where are those customer interactions within your sales journeys? You can look at transactional data. So sales records, purchase histories, loyalty program activities, abandoned cart, those kind of processes to do with actual expenditure. You've also got things like behavioral data, so user navigation, patterns on your websites, time spent on pages, click-through rates, engagement metrics, all of those juicy stuff that is all available to us already. And then feedback data, so we can also look at customer reviews, survey responses, support queries, sentiment listening, those kind of things. So we already have a lot of data. We don't need to go hunting for it. This kind of data we already have. It's about taking it and putting it into systems where you can compare it month on month, where you can check out the overall effectiveness for your campaigns and things. But these are some great places to start to pull that data out and just start having a discussion. Start talking about, why is your transactional data for sales records changed? What are the campaigns that brought new people in? Were they successful in going through all of our interaction points? And just start talking within a data kind of terminology. And then we need to know what to do with it. We've found it within our systems, right? We understand that it exists. We know we're collecting this. But the next crucial aspect is determining where you will put this data and how it will be managed. And sometimes Google Docs is okay. Like, you just need to find and work out what is the best process for you initially. But some other things that you can do is like data warehousing. So you could look at things like centralized storage systems, such as databases or cloud-based data warehouses, like BigQuery or AWS, that can handle large volumes of data. We need to make sure that data from various sources can be integrated and kind of consolidated into different platforms. And also look at data security. So we need to make sure that as marketers, we are following things like GDPR and privacy and compliance safety, just so that we are sensitive with our customer information. So once you've found it, you need to put it somewhere. You need to put it in a tool. You need to put it in a platform. You can even keep it in the platform itself. For example, if you are using like HubSpot CRM that pulls data from other places. But start to look at your data flows and where you are consolidating that data to be able to export or analyze overall. And then data utilization. So we've found it. It's where it needs to be. It's up to date. It's great. It's the most useful for us because we're recognizing why we're storing data and what we're using it for. And the next step is to actually analyze it effectively. So the first thing is looking at data analysis. So we can use data tools such as SQL, Tableau, Power BI, or platforms themselves, because a lot of platforms now have the ability to export and compare over time, for example, to process and analyze that data. So techniques such as segmentation, trend analysis, and predictive modeling can provide you with true actionable insights. We then need to look at leveraging the insights gained from data analysis to inform our marketing strategies. So comparing it or like putting it against what is actively going on within your marketing strategy leads to you being able to kind of look at if it is actually working overall. And that comes to performance measurement. So we need to be able to understand how we track kind of success within our marketing, and key metrics that you may look within that data for are conversion rates, customer acquisition costs, return on investment. And this helps in continuously refining and improving marketing strategies. Also, a great thing to also include within kind of this section when you're looking at kind of the 3 fundamentals of data collection and use is implementing a feedback loop. So adding in a feedback loop is essential for ongoing improvement. So within monitoring, for example, you can continuously monitor to identify new trends, shifts, and changes. You can adjust very quickly because you can use real-time data to make adjustments and pivot your strategies where necessary, or just throw them in the bin if they're not working very well. And this dynamic approach where you can literally look at the data and go, realistically, the spend that we're spending on Instagram is nowhere near giving us the same ROI as LinkedIn. We should move these resources over here, allows you to make better informed choices. And by understanding where data is generated, ensuring it is securely stored and managed, and then effectively analyzing and utilizing the insights gained, we can make bigger, better decisions. But I would say the fundamentals of data collection within marketing, it kind of has a holistic approach to gathering, managing, and using the data to inform and refine marketing strategies. I've worked with small companies that are less than 10. I've worked with large organizations, and one of the biggest issues that always comes up is how do we prove marketing is working, right? You must have all heard this question. Why are we doing that? What is the purpose of that? And what I have always found is a great unifier and a great way to collaborate within the purpose of marketing and where marketing needs to change is to quantify it. And by analyzing and like using the data that we're already collecting allows us to simplify the marketing kind of efforts in a way that is understandable. If this number is going up, if this number is going down, we need to start making decisions on why that is happening. And that is why I'm so passionate actually about understanding how we as marketers can access, understand, and report on the great things that we're doing within our strategies. So what tools can we use for data collection and analysis? So Google Analytics, its usage is to track and report website traffic, user behavior, conversion rates, that kind of thing. But its impact for us from a data point as marketers is it helps us to understand how our visitors interact with a site. We can identify then high performing content. We can then optimize user experience and conversion paths. So with that data, we can have impact on those great things. And then if we look at HubSpot, so its purpose, we all know, is inbound marketing. It's a sales platform. Its usage integrates into the CRM, email marketing, social media marketing, brings us up some great analytics. But its impact from a data point of view on us as marketers is it provides a comprehensive view of customer interactions, enables us to make better personalized marketing campaigns, and we get much better lead nurturing through this system because we can have eyes on what is actually going on within those segments of our communities, the people we want to sell to. And then we can look at Hootsuite, so social media management. Its usage obviously is scheduling posts, it monitors very well and analyzes performance. But the impact for us as marketers is it allows marketers to manage and optimize our presence. No more just putting out content for content's sake. We can actually see and mimic and change and measure the impact of our social media campaigns. Tableau is a great data visualization and business intelligence tool. It creates interactive and shareable dashboards. But as marketers, it allows us to share our data within organizations, make data-driven decisions, but it provides it in a clear visual way to kind of simplify that complex data, facilitating better understanding and communication of metrics overall. And we then have like Salesforce. This is a customer relationship manager. It manages customer data. But from a marketing data point of view, we can see a unified view of customer interactions, improving targeting, improving personalization, and overall customer relationship management. This data allows us to make big, better, wonderful decisions quickly to continually improve our marketing ROI. Instead of how we used to have to like take reports and look at things from time on time, these platforms can now provide us with real-time data to make decisions very quickly and share the decisions very quickly. One that you may not have heard as much is Mixpanel, and this is product and user analytics, and it analyzes user interactions with web and mobile. From a marketing data impact point of view, we can optimize product experiences and increase user engagement and retention over time. Wonderful. We can all of a sudden make decisions about our web, our website, and kind of our mobile applications to make it bigger, better for those that journey onto them and hopefully purchase, share, or engage, whichever your kind of purpose is. We then have SEMrush, so SEO and competitive analysis. It conducts keyword research, tracks rankings, all that kind of stuff. But what it does is it helps us as marketers through that kind of data collection, improve search engine visibility, enhance content strategy, and gain competitive insights to outperform our rivals, because it's competitive out there. We need all the support and understanding of what's going on as possible. And then we even have things like MailChimp. So email marketing and automation, it obviously designs, sends, and tracks those email campaigns. And it's effective because it automates those repetitive tasks. It personalizes communications and analyzes campaign performance. You may be saying to me, you may be sat there within this webinar going, Robin, we use all these tools already. Yeah, you probably do. But do you use it for the data side or the fact that it automates or improves your workflows, like, for example, MailChimp? And do you harness the data that is actually stored and collected to its true purpose? Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down in the chat. Because realistically, we have access to so much data. But because we have a lot to do, generally as marketers, we overlook the data side, right? And we just maybe boil our kind of expectations on the end thing that we're trying to measure. Whereas actually there's so much data and so much we can impact until that point to increase our ROI and understand why things could be enhanced, could be kind of changed or optimized within that journey, right? So yes, I know you're probably sitting there going, Robin, I know what these tools do, but look at them from a data collection and an analysis point instead of just for kind of making it easy to talk to your client or make it easy to see how many X product was sold, because there's so much value you can pull through and take away and allow yourself to use that within your strategy, your optimization, to overall, which is the whole purpose of this, to get bigger, better results from our marketing inputs. So we are data rich, right? We have a lot. So this is an overview of the amount of data collected within an organization that we can squirrel away as marketers and use to enhance our marketing efforts. Now, I know that it will depend on the size of an organization, but here are some and also maybe the specific data kind of collection practices in place. But however, here are some general kind of statistics and insights into the volume of data collected, okay? So let's look at global data growth. So in 2020, the amount of data created, captured, copied, and consumed globally was 64.2 zettabytes. This number is projected to reach 181 zettabytes by 2025. Oh, that's huge amounts, right? And that could be anything from when a customer walks into your store to if they unsubscribe to your marketing list. And it could also be things about internal data processes. So it could be about how quickly a product goes out to a customer, which is also great data because maybe you have to slip in a little email within the purchase automations that says, please expect this to take blah, blah, blah time. Great. We're improving our experience within our marketing processes. So if we look at data collection by sector, retailers collect vast amounts of data. For instance, Walmart handles over 1 million customer transactions per hour. Feeding databases estimated at more than 2.5 petabytes of data. I mean, when you look at these terminologies, they seem made up, right? But if you think about how much data we could collect on one individual's transaction within our organization, it makes sense that we're compounding and hoarding all of this data within organizations. Healthcare. So electronic health records, purchases, searches, patient kind of understanding. Is estimated that healthcare data volume doubles approximately every 73 days. And if we're not taking advantage of this data that is freely available within our sectors, our organizations, the processes that we have within marketers, we're kind of going to miss out because this data allows us to truly be able to recognize trends, patterns, like the segmentations that should be there within within any marketing strategy for an organization. The next kind of ones are quite interesting, right? So let's look at big data adoption. So a survey by New Vantage Partners found that 91.9% of Fortune 1000 companies are actually investing in big data and AI, with 62% reporting measurable results from their investments. So that actually means that it's incredibly tangible. It may be quite loose terminology, but the tech bro world generally is. But these organizations have successfully implemented big data analytics incentives. And you can see things like a 10% reduction in operational cost, 10% increase in new revenue streams, and a 15% increase on customer loyalty. And that is just from using the data that they have to do their own kind of processes better and their outreach better. We're now becoming more and more integrated. I mean, my Apple Watch, I sit down, it opens my computer, my phone, it can also do X, Y, and Z. So we're becoming more and more connected to this Internet of Things. And this is excels and contributes to kind of data collection. And if we look at the estimated kind of future, there will be 25 billion connected IoT devices by 2025. Generating massive amounts of data. Think about that for like if you have a smartwatch and you're logging into subscriptions that help you to monitor your protein intake. That was very, very broad. But that amount of data that you can actually now access allows you to understand why somebody may or may not be hitting their protein intake. You have great marketing strategies that you can then implement to that, positioning your company as the be all and end all for that kind of problem. And email and communication data is another great statistic here that we need to be looking at, is because social media is becoming incredibly saturated, and we're having to work harder and harder for organic, right? People have shifted to growing email lists, communities, kind of offline, but online spaces, Slack. We also have other kind of community builders. But there's a report that at the end of our year this year, the total number of businesses and consumer emails sent and received per day will exceed 319.6 billion. So we're competing everywhere. But the ability to personalize, send these out in a format that people will understand and recognize with, have the correct products placed in the right place within that email, that's only things that we can do if we analyze the data that we have access to, the data that is already within our organizations. So these statistics illustrate the vast and growing amounts of data that we collect and manage automatically within organizations and within marketing. And we should be using it more and more to drive decision-making, optimize operations, and enhance customer experiences, because all of a sudden competing with 319.6 billion emails per day, we need to make sure that we're having the right header, the right time it's going out, the right length for that person, for example, which we can all do using the data that allows us to personalize and segment our audiences. So those kind of numbers seem like overwhelming to me. You can't even quantify that kind of thing, but what I want you to take away is that we're collecting more and more data, which gives us more and more opportunity actually as marketers to make better, bigger, performance-driven decisions. So why could we be missing out as marketers? And these are the main things that I always hear, right? So we're data overloaded. It's overwhelming. We generate so much data, we don't know where to start. And we might struggle to process and analyze large data sets effectively. The it's complex, right? So managing diverse data sources and types can be complex and time consuming. There's a lack of integration. So we have data that is stuck within these kind of different platforms, different sections, where they're not pooling in the right kind of place. Or it's inconsistent. So data from various sources, maybe different formats. Our tools may not be great. So we've got old systems that may not support advanced data. We've got inadequate tools. There's a skills gap potentially. Marketers may not understand how to pull these kind of data together. The data could be poor quality data, inaccuracies, duplicates if it's not managed or stored properly. There could be privacy and compliance concerns, such as regulatory, things like GDPR and CCPA. There could be ethical considerations. So do we truly know where this data has come from? Are we truly allowed to use this data? So there could be issues with that. There could be a lack of strategic focus about understanding how to align data use with overall strategy, vision, mission, and culture within an organization. There could be a misalignment between what we can collect and what we're trying to track. There could be resource constraints, time constraints. So there's so much that could be impacting our use of data. But a magical, wonderful piece of technology that has kind of come out and is incredibly accessible to us now is AI, obviously. And it can significantly enhance our capability to gain insights from marketing data through various advanced techniques and applications. So some of the ways that it can help us to do that, and some AI-powered platforms can help us to do that, is data analysis and interpretation. So as I go through these four, I will quickly name tools within this, but obviously it will be in the notes of the webinar as well. So data analysis. So we're looking at pattern recognition here. So AI algorithms can detect patterns and trends. Tools like Google Analytics and IBM Watson Analytics can process big amounts of data much quicker than we can, much more efficiently than we can, to uncover hidden patterns such as customer behavior trends and purchase patterns, so we can refine our strategies. And then also AI can use historical data to predict future outcomes, such as churn rates and sales forecasts. So here we have Salesforce Einstein and HubSpot that offer predictive analytic features powered by AI. So these are some tools that we probably already have access to and probably haven't really recognized that now with this AI support, we can do this quicker, better, and with more confidence. We then have customer segmentation. So AI can analyze various data points to create highly granular customer segments based on behavior preferences and demographics. You've got things like Adobe Experience Cloud and Segment, which allow marketers to leverage AI for detailed customer segmentation. But you may already have AI-powered processes now within the tools that you use for segmentation. You can also look at things like dynamic segmentation. So AI allows for real-time updating of customer segments as new data comes in. So you can look at two platforms here, Dynamic Yield and Blue Shift, who use AI to continuously refine those customer segments, ensuring marketing efforts remain relevant and timely. We've then got like insights. So AI can analyze customer interactions to provide insights into behavior. So you can use Qualtrics and Mixpanel to really understand those user journeys and to give yourself the most optimum up-to-date information about those people that you're trying to connect with. And then of course, automation. So AI can automate and kind of do that kind of repetitive stuff that we may not want to do, that takes time, that means that we can't be doing the good strategy stuff. Things like Marketo, MailChimp automate processes for us and minor levels of personalization. And then within this, you can also look at chatbots. So AI-powered chatbots like those from Drift and Intercom can handle customer inquiries in real time, improving customer satisfaction and freeing up human resources overall for more complex tasks. So we should go with it, right? We should be recognizing how powerful this data is, understanding that there are limitations to us as marketers to do this, but we should be grabbing the tools that can really help us to analyze vast amounts of data, give us trends, inferences, patterns, the things that we're looking for, to then make those changes within our marketing strategy. And AI has really ramped up our accessibility to these types of processes without actually having to have like a developer background, realistically. And we should realistically embrace these AI-driven solutions to elevate our marketing initiatives and drive growth. So go and check out what your platforms already do. Look through the platforms that I've spoke about and how it can allow you to further understand the data that you have access to. And then the next kind of case study that I wanted to bring up is John Lewis. So they were struggling, right? So they're known for their customer-centric approach, but they needed to understand how to stay relevant, very much like a lot of brands. And an easy way to do that is to deep dive into the data that you have access to. John Lewis started to face increasing competition from both brick and mortar and online retailers, and the company needed to leverage marketing data to maintain its competitive edge. What they found after going through this kind of analytics process, harnessing great tools, great kind of techniques, was that by leveraging this, the company achieved significant improvements in sales, customer loyalty, and operational efficiency. And again, this always comes back to the fact that in reality, data allows us as marketers to connect and understand who is actually interacting with us. No more assumptions, no more poorly based or judged content that is delivered in a way that is timely and understood by those we're trying to interact with. And they got this huge boom again in bringing people back to this brand by talking to those that may have only interacted with them once in the past in a way where they felt seen, heard, and understood. And it's a great case study, as well as the Tesco one. We don't have quite enough time to go deep dive into this, but again, the deeper insights that this company found had an incredible impact and allowed them to make the most out of their marketing. So data-driven marketing has shown significant outcomes across various metrics. And here are some key statistics that I want you to think about. So if we look at using data to drive enhanced customer engagement and personalization, according to Epsilon, 80% of consumers are more likely to make a purchase from a brand that provides personalized experiences. If we look at email, Campaign Monitor reports that personalized email campaigns have an open rate of 29.3 compared to 22.8 for non-personalized emails. And that's a significant change. Can we achieve these outcomes without looking into the data? Realistically, no. These outcomes are directly related to understanding and utilizing the data we have within marketing processes. So I'm going to tell you some more, okay? So let's look at increased ROI and efficiency. Data marketing strategies yield 5 to 8 times more ROI on marketing spend compared to those who go from assumptions, kind of decisions made within an organization that isn't backed upon any data. It's like, oh, around Mother's Day, we should do flowers like we've always done. 5 to 8 times the ROI if you back it in data, if you segment your decisions in the data that is very understandable about your audiences. A survey by Forrester Consulting found that data-driven marketing initiatives are 3 times more likely to lead to improved decision-making capabilities. Of course they are. Again, can we achieve these outcomes without connecting our purpose, outcomes, and strategy to the data that is available? No, we can't. And then if we look at campaign performance, marketers using data-driven strategies are 6 times more likely to achieve a competitive advantage in increasing profitability, and 5 times more likely to achieve a competitive advantage in customer retention, according to a study by CMO Council. Aberdeen's group research indicates that data-driven marketing can increase conversion rates by up to 20%. Again, can you see the impact that we have here? And I've taken statistics from multiple studies across multiple places of the world to show you that this is not isolated. It is a way for us to understand and connect with our consumers, our people that we want to work with, the people we want to buy a product or a service from us, and really nail how we connect with them from a marketing point of view. And if that's not enough for you, here's some more. So revenue growth, cost savings, competitive advantage, real-time insights and responsiveness, all of these wonderful increases in opportunity, ROI, effectiveness, purpose, are all processes driven by understanding and plugging in those data-driven insights that we may have from platforms, our own analysis, heritage data, using AI to understand, looking at our data warehouse to compare time on time. And it just goes to show that there is huge opportunity here. And when I was like talking to you about, oh, Robin, we use these tools and these platforms, yeah, they're part of our day-to-day kind of processes, but actually how data-driven are we being with the decisions that we are making? So where do you begin? And this is my mini marketer's guide on utilizing your data in a more kind of effective way. And I'm going to quickly go through these because I'm very aware of the time. So we want to define objectives, determine what we want to achieve with the data that we're looking into. So what is our overall goal for our marketing campaign, purpose, strategy? What data do we need to collect to understand that? Make sure that everything has like a key performance indicator. We're looking at conversion rates. Does that show us that it is successful, for example, and kind of ROI? We need to identify our sources. Where is our data coming from with our data kind of deep dives? Is it websites, CRM systems, social media? We need to implement tracking so we can do great things within GA4, email marketing platforms to collect the relevant data that links to the key performance indicators, that links to the goal that we're trying to understand by the data that we're collecting. We need to keep our data clean, accurate, and free of duplicates. Make sure it's stored in a great way. You're using the most up-to-date information. Make sure the data flows from platform to platform are working correctly. We need to use data analysis tools, look at segmentation, look at the kind of predictive side. And then from that, we need to generate our insights. So we need to look for trends, patterns to inform our strategies. You can even look at kind of your customer personas here, develop better, more detailed customer personas. And then we need to implement it. We need to take all of this good stuff that we've analyzed, looked at, and created, and we need to implement it overall. So we need to create personalized insights using these insights to see if it works. And then do things like A/B testing, like to determine the best strategy, tweak it, obviously, and refine it. And then also look at automation so we can kind of make better choices. And save us time within this kind of intense processes. Measure and refine, so make sure that we're looking at why we're using the data after we've implemented those data-driven decisions. How are we tracking it? What's going on after that? And then we can also do things like invest in better skills, upskill ourselves, and also our technology investment. And by following these steps, we can harness data to make better, informed decisions, optimize our strategies, and achieve better outcomes. But start with clear objectives and the right tools to transform the raw data into actionable insights that is trackable to drive growth. So that is my kind of mini marketer's guide for a place to always to go back to be like, okay, how can I utilize data better? So I want to thank you for joining our second one of these within the Martech Club series. It's a joy for me to go through this, and I really hope to see you at the kind of next ones that every 2 weeks. I also teach the CIM Specialist Digital Award in AI and Marketing, and these awards are really great. They're kind of new to kind of niche down and help us to develop these kind of key areas. So if you want to see more of me or join my classes, it's that one there. And then the last thing I have to say is we actually have a Martech Club on a Slack channel where I share tools, information, and you can also ask questions to the group just so that we can continue this conversation around marketing technology. But thank you for joining today.
Thank you so much, Robin. That was really great and interesting. Is there any questions, anyone, on the presentation? Anything, any data related questions? Whilst I wait for anything to come through, we'll send this recording out to you in the next few days, and it will be available on our blog, which I shared earlier. If you want to know about any of the marketing courses that we offer, obviously Robin just mentioned about our CIM Specialist Award in AI marketing, then please get in touch and we'll be happy to help. And obviously Robin has shared the Slack group, which I've also posted in the chat now as well, in case you'd like to join that and join the conversation and stay up to date with our upcoming webinars.
Yeah, it was a joy, as always.
No questions?
No, not today.
Thanks,
not like last week.
Thanks everyone for giving up your lunch break today. I hope that you found this really interesting. And thank you, Robin, for your time.
Oh, it's not a problem. I really enjoy it. And I think it's not going to go away. The dependence on understanding where we can improve with the data that we have is just, things are getting more and more competitive. So having that kind of deep dive really helps.
Yeah, it's a really important skill set to have, and it's ever changing as well. Like there's always going to be new things to learn. So I think it's definitely really useful to know. Right, well, I guess we'll round up here. Thank you so much, everyone. And thank you again, Robin, for your time. Have a good afternoon. And we'll see you in a couple of weeks if you join the next one.